Everything Electric, we really pride ourselves on being able to test drive electric vehicles of all shapes and sizes, including, apparently, this boat. Our 3 free YouTube channels on EVs and clean tech are funded by our fun-packed test drive-tastic events in Farnborough, London, the Southwest, the North, Melbourne and Sydney. Next up, we're in Canada for Everything Electric Vancouver. And new for UK viewers, you can buy a battery electric vehicle or more at everythingelectric.store. Back to the episode. We have come to the Okanagan region of British Columbia, well known for its fruit industry, wineries, and high density of pensioners. It's also a popular holiday destination for many Canadians, with its mountainous surroundings, glorious lakes, and an abundance of outdoor activities. And we've actually come to Swan Lake, which is a fantastic name, and it is right next door to the Okanagan Lake. Now, the Okanagan Lake is absolutely ginormous. Just to put it into perspective, it's around 7 times the length of Lake Windermere, or around 3 times the size of Lake Garda. So, as you can imagine, a ripe opportunity for a ton of water sports.
I heard that one out of every 4 families own a small boat and they trailer it to a vacation, to a weekend. A lot of people do fishing trips and camping trips. So if you are driving around on the highway, you will always see a few trailers traveling with travel trailers and a few boats being towed around. So it's really like the headquarters of leisure activities.
5 kilometres down the road from Swan Lake is the company we've come to see, Petawatts, and they are on a mission to electrify the Okanagan Valley by retrofitting boats and RVs, starting with 2 stunningly beautiful restorations, one of a 1952 mahogany day cruiser and the other a 1970s Princecraft Seville boat. Now this orange beauty actually featured on the Grand Tour, and in fact James May sank it in the episode titled Oh Canada. Petawatts fortunately purchased this boat and were able to restore it to its former glory and convert it to electric. So using Acel technologies, there's the screen, I've got the accelerator here, of course the motor at the back and all of the batteries. It is completely modular, so right now it has 32 kilowatt hours of capacity, but with an addition they're looking at making that 42 kilowatt hours. And what that means in terms of range is difficult to say because it really does depend on how you're choosing to spend a day out. So this has a top speed of around 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. So if you wanted to absolutely hoon it for an hour, you'd probably use all of the battery capacity. But the reality is you've probably got a 6 to 8 hour day out, a little bit quickly, a little bit more slowly, a bit of swimming, a bit of stopping for lunch. And this will do your 6 to 8 hour day out absolutely perfectly. You're working with Acel. Tell us about their partnership and how that works.
Yeah, they are based in Vancouver and the design work and the development is happening here in Canada. They are manufacturing most of the products in China and then bring it back home. But it's a great partnership. We were their first installer partner and we giving them feedback as well on the product. So we do a lot of test drives. We converted 2 boats and we are testing both the 50 and the 75 horse system.
And if for boat owners, they would have to do upgrades anyway, so I guess it's not overly different from replacing, say, the outboard motor or engine or anything like that.
Well, for a boat, especially if it's an outboard configuration, it's fairly simple because you have to exchange the outboard itself and you have to find the place for 2, 3, 4 boxes of batteries somewhere in the boat. Usually we build it into the floor, under the floor and into the bottom of the boat. And most boats are over 15, 16 feet length are having good enough spaces and capacity to carry the batteries.
The thing that's really lovely about all of this is that I love the fact that we're in a 1970s boat. It has such a kind of James Bond, but sort of make it a little bit garish theme to it, which is just so cool. But then at the same time, you have a screen and controls that you would expect to see in any kind of modern electric vehicle, which means that you can step into it and have a tremendous amount of confidence to just get going and drive it and enjoy a glorious day out. Attila described this experience as much closer to sailing, and I could not agree more. The noise level and vibrations are much quieter. There aren't any fumes, and most importantly, no pollution is going into the water. This all sounds brilliant, but what needs to happen to make this even more straightforward? What about the charging infrastructure? How does that work?
Well, that's a bit behind as well, so we need to work hard on installing lakeside chargers as well. But actually most of these smaller trailerable boats are very easy to charge on the regular electric car charging infrastructure next to main roads, which is plenty in BC. So in Canada here, we don't have to complain about that.
Is it much more expensive to opt for an electric conversion than it is a traditional sort of upgrade of a motor?
Well, currently it's still more expensive than gas motors, but if you look in 2 or 3 seasons overall cost of ownership, then you can break even in 2 or 3 seasons with any boat like that size.
If you thought a 1970s boat was pretty old, we actually have an even older one to jump into. And the other boat is a 1952 mahogany aqualiner. And I think we're going to try and do a little bit of water skiing too. Now this is really rather extraordinary because this is a 1952 aqualiner. It's mahogany, it's beautiful, it's like stepping into the past. Only, of course, it's also been lovingly restored and equipped with electric technology. There's a 75 horsepower equivalent motor and there's 42 kilowatt hours of batteries underneath the floor. That means that this can go up to almost 60 kilometers an hour, which feels bonkers. And sitting here, I want to believe that I can be some sort of, Italian film star. I cannot. I've been a total dork. The smile on my face has been absolutely just insuppressible. This is magical. And I suppose that's the thing about retrofitting technologies. You get to take this window from the past and enjoy this beautiful craftsmanship, but ensure that it can be reliable and also really clean at the same time as well. So I'm a big fan of this. As if the two-boat garage wasn't already the dream setup, Attila accompanies this with not one, but 2 electric Ford pickup trucks, although granted, one slightly more in progress than the other. What can tow this? Because that's always a question that comes up. Are there any electric vehicles that can actually tow these vehicles?
Oh yeah, we are towing with a Ford Lightning, and that's our daily driver in the workshop. So we are towing it far and near. You can tow with that truck about 300 kilometers.
Tell us about the Ford 250 that you have and that you're currently electrifying.
Yeah, that's a very interesting old truck. It's probably the most common truck you can have, so it's not a classic in that sense. Some people are angry when you ruin the soul of a classic car by putting an electric drive into that. I'm not thinking like that, but still this is a very nice 1990 truck. Very nice to my eyes. It's more from my childhood, the block-shaped rectangular forms and just the sound of the door when you close it and all the switches working really well. And that will have a very powerful electric motor in it and about 80 kilowatt hours of batteries. So it will have about 300 kilometers of range and it will be a very nice daily driver.
We could be all high and mighty about the virtues of going electric, but frankly, sometimes it is literally as simple as just having fun. If you're a boat owner, you will at some stage need to replace the engine on your boat, so why not look at electrifying it? And perhaps then you might just look as suave and sophisticated as me. Good grief. That is all that we have time for today. Please do let us know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe. And if you have been, thank you for watching.
Now visit electricvehicles.expert, where you can follow everything electric and keep current with Clean Technica, The Driven, Electrek, and many more.